Chosen ones, stop thinking you missed the window. 7 signs it's opening now. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That subtle ache in your chest, that lingering question in your mind. Did I miss it? Did I miss my calling, my moment, my divine window of opportunity? It starts quiet, a whisper. Then it grows louder the longer things feel still. You look around at others, moving, building, accelerating, and you wonder if the window that was once wide open for you has now shut with a silent click. You wonder if the choices you didn't make, the chances you didn't take, have somehow disqualified you from the purpose you once felt so sure of. But I'm here, not just to tell you, but to show you. You didn't miss anything. That window you thought closed is not just still open, it's opening now. And if you've been called, if you've felt that divine pressure inside of you, then this is the moment where everything begins to shift. Let's be real. Being a chosen one doesn't feel glamorous when you're in it. It feels confusing, isolating, heavy. You've probably walked through seasons that felt like nothing but loss. Loss of people, loss of momentum, loss of clarity. But what if I told you that wasn't regression? What if I told you that was the clearing before the construction? Because before God elevates, He excavates. He removes what's not stable so that when the window opens, and it will, you're not building on sand, you're building on sovereignty.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
You see, windows in the spiritual realm are not measured by clocks. They're measured by alignment. And when the internal and external finally harmonize, that's when you see sudden movement. That's when the random call comes in. That's when the opportunity you thought you missed circles back. But this time, you're ready. This is what I call divine realignment. And when it happens, you don't need to chase, you don't need to beg, you don't need to perform, you just walk through it. But you've got to know the signs, because God is speaking. The universe is shifting, and if you don't recognize the signs, you'll confuse activation with anxiety or divine nudging with impatience. The first sign that your window is opening, you feel everything intensify. Your emotions, your thoughts, your dreams, all of it starts to rise, not because you're breaking down, but because you're being broken open. The pressure is proof that something is building. And when the soul is stretching, the mind will panic. That's normal, that's expected. But if you can breathe through it, stay present, and not distract yourself, you'll hear it. The whisper, the instruction, the next step. The second sign, old cycles start to collapse on their own. Relationships that once made sense just stop working. Jobs that once felt comfortable now feel suffocating. You try to go back to who you were, but it's like wearing a shirt 2 sizes too small. That's not failure. That's evolution. That's the universe saying, you can't stay here anymore. You didn't miss your moment. You outgrew your old version. And this discomfort, it's a sacred indicator that the window is not behind you, it's right in front of you. The third sign, you start seeing strange synchronicities, numbers, names, dreams, conversations that feel like they were scripted for your soul. You start hearing the same phrase over and over again. People you haven't spoken to in years randomly reach out. Things feel surreal, almost like you're inside a dream. That's not coincidence, that's timeline alignment. And if you're paying attention, you'll realize your path is being illuminated, one breadcrumb at a time. The fourth sign, you begin to feel a deep, almost unreasonable urge to simplify, to clean your space, to cancel distractions, to shut off noise, to detox your life. That's not minimalism, that's preparation. That's your spirit making room. Because when the window opens, you won't have time to declutter. You'll need to be ready to move. And the more you release now, the lighter you'll be for the leap that's coming. The fifth sign, you feel like you're being pulled apart and put back together at the same time. Some days you feel on fire with purpose. Other days you feel like you're falling apart. But what if both are true? What if you're not breaking down, you're being reassembled? Not according to who you used to be, but who you were always meant to become. This duality is not a contradiction, it's a rebirth, and rebirth always comes with labor pains. The sixth sign? You start receiving instructions in silence. No more loud revelations, no more external confirmations, just a knowing, a quiet nudge, a whisper that says, "Do this." And you don't even know why, but it feels right. That's divine strategy. That's God moving you like a chess piece. And if you obey those whispers, even when they don't make sense, you'll find yourself in position when the window swings wide open. And the seventh sign, the one most people miss, you start to feel a sacred urgency, not panic, not fear, but a deep, soul-level awareness that now is different. Something is shifting. It's not just another season, it's the season, the one you've been prepared for, the one your ancestors prayed over, the one every delay has been pointing to. And this urgency? It's your spirit standing at the edge of the window, waiting for your permission to leap through, not in recklessness, but in readiness. So I ask you, what if you never missed the window at all? What if the window was always waiting for you to be ready? What if every closed door was training you to recognize the right door? And what if this moment, right now, wasn't a detour, but the beginning of divine acceleration? Your window hasn't closed, it's cracking open. And the wind that's coming through, that's not coincidence, that's calling. The energy shift. How to prepare when the spirit world starts moving. You can feel it, can't you? The atmosphere around you is changing. Something unseen yet undeniable is beginning to rise. It's subtle at first, like static electricity before a storm. But once you sense it, you can't unfeel it. The air feels charged. Your spirit feels alert. And even if your outer life looks the same, inside something ancient is waking up. That's the energy shift. It's not just emotional, it's not just mental, it's spiritual, and it means the spirit world is moving, and when that world moves, your world is about to change. But here's the truth most people miss. When the spirit realm begins to shift in your favor, you don't just sit and wait for it to fall on you. You prepare, you align, you get your house in order. Because open windows don't stay open forever, they come in divine waves. And if you're not ready when the wave rolls in, you'll watch your moment pass and wonder why nothing happened. So if you feel that hum in your soul right now, if you feel that inner trembling, that quickening, then you are being invited to prepare, to get in position, to become the version of yourself that can carry what's coming. Preparation doesn't mean scrambling, it means centering. It means getting still enough to hear what's yours and what's noise. It means asking questions that cut through illusion. Questions like, what am I carrying right now that I won't have room for on the other side of this window? Because when the spirit world starts moving, it doesn't care about your comfort zone. It cares about your capacity. And if your life is too full of distractions, of people who drain you, of obligations that don't align with your assignment, you won't have the space to receive what's being released. This is the time to clean your inner house, and I mean really clean it, not just surface-level mindset shifts. I mean pruning the internal patterns that keep you small, the resentment you've been nursing, the fears you've been hiding behind, the stories you've been telling yourself about why it's too late, or why it's too hard, or why it's not your turn. Because those stories, they don't belong in the new timeline. And if you carry them into the next season, they'll sabotage what was meant to save you. When the spirit world moves, it also attracts spiritual resistance. That's why when you're closest to the window, things often feel messier, more chaotic. You'll find yourself being triggered by things you thought you healed. You'll feel emotional fatigue for no reason. You'll notice certain people in your life suddenly acting strange, distant, or even hostile. That's not random. That's spiritual friction, because darkness senses when your light is about to break through, and it panics. It starts throwing distractions, confusion, and noise to keep you out of alignment. So in this moment, your greatest weapon isn't hustle, it's discernment. You have to begin asking yourself, what is mine to carry, and what is simply noise trying to knock me off path? You have to start honoring your energy like a sacred currency, because everything that drains you right now is too expensive to afford. You need every ounce of clarity, peace, and presence for what's coming. You can't waste it on arguments, on proving your worth, or trying to convince people who were never meant to see your light. And maybe that's the real shift happening. Maybe this isn't just about an opportunity. Maybe it's about you becoming unshakable. Maybe the real gift isn't the open window. It's the version of you that's finally ready to walk through it without fear. Maybe all this time you were waiting for the shift, but really the shift was waiting for you to become the one who doesn't flinch when it arrives. Let's go deeper. What if every delay in your life wasn't blocking you, it was building you? What if the reason the spirit world is moving now is because you finally developed the spiritual weight to hold what you asked for? Because elevation without foundation is how people crumble. But you didn't just pray for a breakthrough, you prayed to sustain it. And that requires depth. So here's the challenge. If you feel the energy shifting, act like it. Start moving like someone who knows the universe is conspiring in your favor. Start preparing like someone who expects to receive. Start speaking like someone who knows the door is about to swing open. Because that posture of expectation, that's not arrogance, that's alignment. And it activates everything. Don't wait for the window to fully open before you decide to rise. Rise now, move now, trust now. The spirit world is moving, and you are being summoned to meet it with fire in your heart and clarity in your soul. The flow code. How to unlock divine momentum without forcing anything. There comes a moment on the spiritual path where you realize that force is the language of fear, but flow is the language of faith. Up until now, many of us have been taught that if we want something, we have to chase it, hustle for it, prove we're worthy, push hard enough, long enough, until it's ours. But chosen ones don't move like that anymore. We've graduated from grind to grace. We've outgrown the need to manipulate outcome, because when the window opens, when divine momentum begins to rise, you don't have to force anything. You just have to flow with it. But what does that really mean? Flow isn't passivity. It's not laziness disguised as surrender. It's not sitting back hoping the universe drops your purpose in your lap. Flow is precision. It's the ability to discern the current of divine timing and move in harmony with it. When you're in flow, your actions are small but powerful. Your yes becomes sacred. Your no becomes non-negotiable. You stop scattering your energy and start becoming a channel for alignment. Flow is when you stop chasing everything and start responding to what's calling you. The key to unlocking this flow is to stop trying to control every detail and start listening to the deeper rhythm underneath your life. That rhythm is always speaking. It shows up in what excites you, what frustrates you, what keeps knocking even after you've tried to ignore it. Flow doesn't mean everything is easy. It means everything is clear. It means you're no longer swimming against the current of your own soul. You're moving with it. But to move in flow, you have to release the addiction to certainty. That's what blocks so many of us. We want guarantees. We want the entire staircase before we take the first step. But flow doesn't give you the full picture. Flow gives you the next right step, and then the next, and then the next. That's how divine momentum works. It builds trust, not through explanations, but through experience. And the more you obey those quiet nudges, the more life opens up in ways logic could never have predicted. So ask yourself, what are you still trying to force? What doors are you still banging on that clearly no longer open? What version of your dream are you still clutching, even though you've outgrown it? Flow requires you to let go, not just of the outcome, but of the identity you built around it. Because sometimes what's blocking your momentum isn't outside of you, it's you, trying to make something work that was never meant to be permanent. You've got to surrender the plan you had to make space for the one that's trying to arrive. There's a moment in every chosen one's journey where you stop striving and start sinking. You stop proving and start partnering with God, with your higher self, with the energy that's been guiding you all along. And when that alignment clicks into place, things start to move. People start showing up. Opportunities begin to find you, not because you chased them. That's the real secret. When you're in flow, you don't find the path finds you. But this requires a deep level of trust. Trust that even when it's quiet, the current is still carrying you. Trust that even when it looks like nothing is happening, everything is being rearranged behind the scenes. Can you believe that life is working for you even before you see the proof? That's the test. That's the initiation. And if you can hold that faith in the silence, you'll be ready for the sudden acceleration that always follows. Momentum doesn't come from doing more, it comes from doing what's right, what's aligned, what's yours. And the more you let go of what isn't yours, the faster the flow carries you. That's how you unlock divine momentum without burnout. That's how you ride the wave instead of fighting the ocean. It's not about being passive, it's about being precisely positioned, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Flow isn't luck, it's the natural reward of alignment. And here's something wild. When you're in flow, even disruption becomes part of the design. You'll start to realize that delays weren't detours, they were calibration. That rejection wasn't a punishment, it was redirection. You'll begin to trust the timing of your life so deeply that you no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, you whisper, "Show me what this is teaching me." That's when you know you're moving in divine rhythm. So I'll ask you now, what would it look like if you stopped trying to force life and started partnering with it? What if you got quiet enough to hear the flow beneath your fear? What if you trusted that you're not late, you're not early, you're right on time? Because you're flowing with something bigger than yourself. The window is opening, not because you earned it, but because you're aligned with it. Your only job now is to keep flowing. Keep listening, keep showing up with intention and trust. Because when momentum comes, it won't feel like a reward, it'll feel like remembering who you are. The leap of faith. Why your next move must be bolder than ever. There's a moment every chosen one reaches where the universe goes quiet, the signs become subtle, and the path ahead is no longer lit by certainty, but by courage. It's the edge, the precipice, the place between where you've been and where your purpose is calling you. And in that place, you'll be asked to do something most people never dare to. Leap. Not because you're guaranteed a soft landing, not because everything makes perfect sense, but because your soul knows it's time. This leap is not physical, it's spiritual, mental, energetic. It's the shift from preparation to execution, from waiting to walking, from wondering to becoming. And it must be bolder than anything you've ever done before. Why? Because everything up to this point has been preparing you not just to believe in your destiny, but to embody it. The window is open. The flow has begun. But now you must move. You've been shown the signs, you've heard the whispers, you've felt the pull, and now the question is simple. Will you trust it enough to act on it? This is the part where most people freeze. The mind starts screaming, what if it's the wrong decision? What if it all falls apart? What if I lose everything I've built? But here's the truth. The leap isn't about knowing what's on the other side. It's about trusting that the same force that brought you this far will not let you fall. You were never meant to have all the answers. You were meant to follow the fire. That fire inside you, that deep knowing that something more is calling you, that is the map. People spend so much time trying to build perfect plans, waiting for every condition to be ideal, but destiny doesn't wait for perfection. It waits for alignment. And once you're aligned, the next step almost always looks bigger than you think you can handle. That's how you know it's real. The leap will never feel comfortable. It will demand your full presence. It will require you to leave behind the version of yourself that survived and step into the version that will lead. The leap is not about safety, it's about sovereignty. And yes, it will cost you. It will cost your comfort. It will cost your fear-based identity. It may even cost relationships that can't follow you into the next dimension. But what you gain, you can't imagine it yet. Peace, power, purpose, alignment, impact. You don't just move, you transform. Because the leap doesn't just take you to the next level, it activates the next level in you. And that version of you, the one who lives in truth, walks in clarity and leads with light, That's the one the world's been waiting for. So how do you leap? You begin by choosing. Choosing to believe that your intuition is not fantasy, it's instruction. Choosing to act not when you're no longer afraid, but when you realize fear is part of the process. You leap when you stop needing permission and start trusting your own inner yes. You leap when you stop negotiating with your purpose and start obeying it. The leap is a ceremony, a crossing over, a declaration that says, I'm not waiting anymore. I'm becoming now. And you don't have to leap perfectly, you just have to leap wholeheartedly. God doesn't need your perfection, He needs your participation. The universe doesn't reward flawless execution, it rewards authentic courage. The leap is messy, it's terrifying, it's raw, but it's also holy, sacred, necessary, because without the leap, you stay watching the window instead of walking through it. There's something magnetic about a person who leaps. They carry a frequency that others feel without explanation. They radiate clarity, certainty, not because they know everything, but because they trust themselves. That's the energy that draws in divine acceleration. That's the vibration that opens doors no one can shut. That's the power that changes lives, not just yours, but everyone connected to your calling. So I ask you now, as clearly and as deeply as I can, what are you still waiting for? What more do you need to see before you trust what you already know? What would happen if you let go of the fear of falling and started believing in the certainty of flying? You are not here to play small. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to wait for permission. You are here to leap, because something inside you knows the ground beneath your feet is no longer where you belong. You've outgrown the waiting room. You've outgrown the old narrative. You've outgrown the idea that playing it safe will somehow protect you from destiny. This is your moment, this is your signal, this is your window, and it's open now. Not tomorrow, not next year, now, chosen one. Your next move must be bolder than ever, not because you're reckless, but because you're ready. Ready to walk in truth. Ready to surrender control, ready to leap into the timeline where everything finally aligns. The world is waiting, your purpose is waiting, you are waiting, but not anymore. Leap.